Okay, so I'm on a bit of a new lawn install and cleanup here. As you can see, I got the CMP Grapple on, so we might be able to do some fun stuff with that. And then the tilt grading bucket. So to start out, this is a front lawn of a corner lot and has very steep sides on it, as well as a retaining wall around where the driveway is. So everything up here is raised. On top of that, this is the leach field, and the septic tank is right on the other side of that little patch of overgrowth. So I'm trying to avoid doing too much destructive work and kind of keeping it down to just getting rid of the unnecessary items and then bringing in some new topsoil and regrading out with that and stripping what's necessary to get rid of, because there's just a lot of divots, potholes, and kind of just poor subgrade material here. Because this is all the leach field area, it's pretty sandy and it just takes poorly. You can see coming down to the street here, the front side is all riprap. I'm going to do my best to get rid of any of the growth coming out of it. And of course it's on a main road, a cut-through road, so don't really have much access going onto the road. So I'll have to reach down from the top. This is the septic tank cover. So I believe the tank is kind of just in this dead area of grass. And then down here is the driveway on the other side with a 3 to 4 foot wall separating the two. So getting material up here is going to be the interesting part. And the other goal was to clean up this side and bring in some more material to put over there. So I'm going to start out today by getting rid of as much stuff that I don't want to keep here as I can. Because the one thing that's nice about over here, since it's a side road, is I can pull the truck and trailer up right here and just pull material out of it if I do bring some loam inside of my trailer. So it's a bit of a tough one, but I think I can make it work. right, that grapple's awesome. It made it so easy to clean out up and around the walkway and on the hill and picking up all the little bricks. It's just so much nicer to have that 14 inches of continuous contact on the grapple here, whereas on the bucket with the thumb you just have those two little 1-inch contacts in between teeth. So it makes it really almost impossible to like pick up, you know, small weeds like this. And I was just able to go along pretty much that whole rock face on the front and pick out all the little weeds just to kind of clean it up a little bit. And then even just picking out the root mats and everything like that. I mean, even just going through all of this area, I was able to just kind of pluck everything up from its roots and rip all the tops off. And then in here I was able to get right around the little gutter downspouts and everything. So it worked out real nice. Alright, so my original plan after I had stripped out all of the big stuff was to then pretty much actually just strip almost all the organics out of here, because when I had originally seen the site a few months ago, it was pretty much all absolutely dead and pretty gross. But now upon returning and working with the material a little bit, there is quite a bit of sod over there and even some in here. And there actually isn't much left underneath that sod. It's maybe like an inch or two at most of a topsoil around the site, and the rest of it underneath that is just, you know, sandy gravel, sandy fill. So stripping all that material out, I'm just going to be exposing more of that fill and then really having to bring in a lot more material to build it up. So on second thought, rather than bring in, you know, excess amounts of material and have to pull out excess material, I put a soil conditioner on hold at Bobcat in New Hampshire, so I'll pick that up one of these coming days and just basically till this whole thing to get it a lot more level, redistribute a lot of that extra sod and extra material, beat it up so that it makes a good sub base, and then we can spread a few inches of topsoil over that, hopefully, you know, saving on the budget so that we're not bringing in, you know, 2+ loads of topsoil just to get this thing going. And I know the ideal thing is to really kill the entire lawn and get everything trimmed real low, but honestly just running that soil conditioner over this stuff really absolutely beats it into shape, and then we're going to be coating it, so it's going to be good. And on top of that, instead of having a load of loam dropped on the driveway, I'm just going to go ahead and get some loads in the trailer here so that I can just directly bale it right out of the trailer on this edge and put it right up on the lawn and stockpile it, so that I don't have to load it out from the driveway and drive it around like 50 feet and then unload it again. I think that'll be more efficient and more cost effective. So what I'll do now is I'll put on the tilt bucket, go around all the edges, so that when I get the soil conditioner I can just blast it all out and not have to worry about getting too close to the edge, and keep everything in here, and basically any of the excess will go in that hole up there or down in this low spot here. So that'll give a good spot to put a lot of that stuff to help fill in and bring the grade up. Alright, that gets 15 yards here. I think that should be plenty for the front yard. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so I threw a tarp over this to help keep a lot of that moisture from just going right down the center of this thing. So I'll be back after it rains to do the rest of the yard. Alright, back this morning with the soil conditioner and skid steer. Had to move a couple things around, but we got like an inch of rain the other day. So I put a tarp over the loam, so that's pretty dry, luckily, and I think everything else has kind of situated itself since it's been so dry, but give this thing a rip and see what we can do. Alright, so I got all the edges pulled in with the excavator, went over it a few times with the soil conditioner. Everything came out pretty good. I mean, it's all pretty decent topsoil, pretty loose, broke up most all the sod. There's a couple chunks in there and whatever, but so now the goal will be to just take this pile and spread out what's necessary on all the low spots and up around the edges and all the things like that where I had to actually fully strip items. Alright, so that definitely helped me save on some material. I probably have about 4 yards left over here. And I've got everything covered, surfaced. I just gotta go around and hand touch it up. Then it'll just be a matter of kind of finishing off this edge here with some more material. But definitely glad I got the soil conditioner. But before I do any of the finish work, they did want to clear this back section here. I believe they just wanted me to till it up and put some loam where necessary, but they didn't want to hydroseed this area, so I'm just gonna go through and pop out those couple little sumac type trees and then hit it with the soil conditioner, because that should till all that stuff right up. Alright, that gets that whole back area prepped out. And they can do whatever they'd like with it now. And plant some stuff, put down some rock, put down some mulch, or put grass seed on it, I guess. All right, cut down this bank a bit. Got the rest of the loam raked out on the side here, and everything is pretty much done. It's ready for hydro seeding, which I will have my buddy do at the beginning of this week. But overall, this looks a whole hell of a lot better, and they'll have a nice yard here in the front, hopefully. It does get some good balance of sun and shade, so I imagine it'll be pretty good. All right, so since I have the soil conditioner for the weekend, and I'm in between a job with it, I figured I would use it around my house a little bit. Being that I never have time to work on my own house, everything is just, slowly getting out of control. And this summer was really brutal, so all of the grass in my yard kind of cycled, and the leach field here didn't do too well because it's the leach field and it gets a lot of sun. On top of that, there's a bunch of undulations in it due to the way it's settled, and because when I put down all this soil the first time, we just did it with the tractor and hand raking, so we didn't get a really good grade to it. Especially up here, we just kind of spread soil on top of existing material, so we didn't really mix it up or really fill it in as I would have liked. So ideally, what I want to try to do with that soil conditioner is basically just everything on this top of the leach field, just cut it up, churn it up, and then throw down some seed. But overall, I mean, the rest of the yard actually popped back up okay. This hill up on this side was getting so much sun, a lot of the sod just died. So what I'll end up doing next week is aerating, fertilizing, and just overseeding everything. So hopefully that'll help fill in a lot of the open spots on the hill by next spring. All right, I hit that from about every angle possible, and this thing's a whole bunch more congruent, at least even with itself, even if it's not completely level or anything like that. There's way fewer dips and bumps, and everything now kind of follows a smooth path. Just a couple of clods of items left here and there. I'll go around and hand rake some of this stuff up, and then we can throw down some seed. And I think I missed all of the sprinkler heads, so there's still some original grass around those, but that should be fine. Okay, just beat the light on this. I put down 3 bales of hay. We're at the point of year that it's like 60 degrees out, maybe high 70s now. So it really shouldn't get too hot. This will all come up just fine, just like my backyard last year. The straw was just like a nice insurance to make sure it does, and then helps it carry through in the spring and everything like that. So I guess this was a little bonus footage of the soil conditioner and everything after I just did that lawn install. So hopefully this comes out nice in a few weeks, and then by the spring I'll have a more level leach field and hopefully not all weeds. All right, well, I've been super busy, and it's been about a month since I planted all the grass back here. So we can see now that pretty much filled out really nicely. There really aren't any bald spots in it, and even the stuff I didn't straw came in really good over here as well. It helped a lot that we had a pretty good fall season. Wasn't too cold, wasn't too hot, and we got some good rain everywhere in between. Of course, all the larger blades in here are from the straw itself. Those dissipate over time after you mow it a bunch. Same thing happened in the back. So hopefully next spring is nice to this, unlike the back hill area. This last summer was extremely hot, extremely dry, and this area of the lawn does get a lot of sun, a lot of heat. So hopefully it will sustain itself and not turn into a giant weed patch as it was before, and at the very least it's a lot more level. So back over here on this side of the hill where I had fixed 3 spots last year that were all crabgrass, they came in really nice in the fall, but they didn't fill out completely before the next spring, and unfortunately with how much heat this hill takes, most of this grass died during the summer. I mean, as did most of this hill over here, but this all popped back up pretty decently. Unfortunately, this stuff was so new that it just got overtaken by all of the crabgrass, and you can actually see the little berms of crabgrass seed that popped back up from where I had plowed up and turned up all the soil. So hopefully I can get this stuff to balance out over here with some lime and fertilizer. Next season I did overseed and everything, and some of the grass is starting to pop back up. But my hope is over here that all of this will be full enough by the spring that we're not really going to have that issue, as long as it isn't a complete drought.